Hi, today we're talking about convection currents. So I'm sure you've been discussing it in class, but we know that there are three things that a convection current must have in order to work. First thing, you need something that's going to move. So you need a fluid. Then you need some way to get it to move, and we've got to heat it up. So we need a heat source. The last thing that all convection currents have in common are the way that they move. And we're going to talk about that right now. So we're going to call it their movement. I'm sure you've done this in class. All convection currents need a heat source. And once you get those molecules moving quickly, they're going to get warm and they're going to want to spread apart. So warm, less dense fluids rise. So let's look at that here on our board. I think we need a heat source first. So let's add some flames here. That looks good. And now we need to warm them up. So they're going to move upwards, away from the heat source. And the warm, must be a bad finger, less dense fluids rise. All right, so once they get away from the heat source, they're now going to lose some heat and they're going to cool down, give it up to their environment like we talked about in heat transfer. So they move away from the heat source and they're going to kind of spread out as they do that. Once they've started to cool down, they're going to become more dense and they're going to want to sink. So we're going to sink them back down. And we know that as cooler, more dense fluids sink. Something about that finger just doesn't want to write right. And then they're going to be pulled back in towards the heat source and they're going to go around. So with our hands, that looks like warm it up. Warm, less dense fluids sink. They're going to cool down now. Start over. Warm, less dense fluids rise. You're right, I did it wrong. Cooler, more dense fluids sink. All right, practice that. Do what I said, not what I did. And I'm sure you'll be a pro at convection currents in no time.